saying because it is something that I experienced myself directly. So I have a full knowledge of what was happening. So I pick up the phone and tell the Israeli counterpart, this is 12 hours, 24 hours before. I pick it up and say to my Israeli counterpart, look, we're going to Geneva. And hours later, he's sitting in my mother's house. He's looking for me. I don't know where I am. I come back. This is in Jerusalem. I come back and he says, sorry, Sari, we decided to pull the plug. We're not going. Imagine, this is the day before we are supposed to go. See what's happening. We're going all the way. And, Arafat said, they put Faisal in jail. Arafat says, go on. We go on. The guy then says, okay, I'm not coming. We're not coming. Shamir has decided to, or whoever, to pull back. So I tell them in Arafat, they're not coming. So he says, never mind, you have a ticket to Geneva, come, let's see each other. Have a nice time in Geneva with me. So, okay, I go. Have a couple of days of rest. 3 months later, my colleague Faisal is taken up to court to review this case of administration order. And so his lawyer tells me that, look, Sari, Faisal is being accused of being a terrorist. And now he's coming up to the court to have the order on him, whatever. And so could you please come and tell the court and the judges what really Faisal is about and what you were doing. Going out on a limb, exposing yourselves as Palestinian leaders for making peace. And these guys tell us and tell the world that you are terrorists. Come and tell them. So I get very emotional, I have a duty. I want to go and defend my friend. I want to go and tell the judges. I walk in, I tell the judges, wow, that night it's all over the news, television. The guy that we're talking with resigns from his post in Beirut, in the Likud Central Committee. Shamir disowns him, says we have nothing to do with this guy, he's a liar. This guy says we don't have anything to do with Fatah. We're talking to Sari, the son of the Jordanian minister. Again, that kind of thing. And the whole thing just goes like that. Next day is Friday, the news is talking about it. Saturday, I have a lecture. I go to give a talk. It's a class, not a lecture. And I'm surprised I don't see any of my students there. So I say, wow, that's a great opportunity. My students aren't here. I can have a day off today. I don't have to teach. So I go home. Sunday, it's again in the press, a lot of things, radio, and there's a lot of attack from Jordan and a lot of disownership from Israel. Monday I go in. It's a major auditorium. We give general lectures. The talk that I have to give on that day is Locke, John Locke, and the idea is about freedom of expression and tolerance and all of that. So I go in, I finish the talk about Locke, and students come out, and we're going out, and I'm about to go out, and then some students come running back saying, professor, teacher, doctor, some group of people who are all covered up in their face, they're coming with batons. So what do? I rush towards these people that are supposed to be coming to see what's up. Because I think, if they're after somebody, like a traitor, I could go and stop them. And, they see me and basically I'm their object. And so they come and attack me with their batons and their knives and so on. And, I go to hospital for a few days. But I'm fine, I have broken this and broken that, but I'm fine. But it didn't stop there. Now, it turns out, it seems, that this was the explanation of the story. That the Likud, who was in power, who had the premiership, said who headed government, found out about the labor's initiative with the Jordanians. And it seems, and this is speculation now on my part, that they didn't like it, that the Labour Party was going behind their back to try and reach a deal with the Jordanians. So they decided to do something to that by making a new deal with the Palestinians. Now, who got angry? Of course, the Jordanians got angry, and so they were angry with us. And we got angry because we were being played, with. Now, anyway, this was just to tell you that from a position of, we have a problem, we're angry, we want to reclaim our rights, we want to have a state that's Arab in Palestine, to the position we want to have a democratic secular state where everybody can live together, which is where I began to reach as I was beginning to think more deeply about the matter, to the position we are prepared to have two states and get it over with in order to have peace, to the effort after effort after effort to reach such a deal with the Israelis. I finally come to the conclusion that one should not forget what Ben-Veniste said, that there's a pattern, there's something going on underneath. And what's going on underneath, this unfolding reality that's going on, don't misunderstand me. I'm not necessarily saying it's anything even conscious. I'm not saying there's necessarily a conscious plan on the Israeli side to create the reality that's unfolding. But what I'm saying, and I think what Ben-Veniste would be saying, is that whatever the conscious plans are, whatever the ideas are people have on both sides, that in fact history is unfolding somehow in the wrong direction, or if you like, in its own direction, or if you like, history has its own mind, or as I've come to also think about it, that history runs faster than ideas. History runs faster than ideas. We're running after the stuff, and we want to do everything, but actually it's ahead of us. And we can't get there. And what we have before us is this now single state reality. This is what we have. And I believe that everything that you hear about today negotiations is just cosmetic. It's just palliative. I hope, I wish, and if I was to take to praying, I would also pray that I'm wrong. But it seems to me, from a whole lot of data and experiences that I've collected up as an individual, that what we see before us in terms of ongoing talks and so on is really simply a show, and that something else is happening on the ground, and that something happening is the unfolding of a single state reality. So to conclude, I will go back to the beginning and say that what we have, therefore, is not something it seems that we can actually do like a puzzle, undo but like a puzzle. What we have is a reality unfolding, and therefore what we need, our duty, our obligation is, as rational human beings, as peace seekers, as people who want to minimize pain on all sides, human suffering on all sides, what we need to do is to start thinking differently about how to manage, how to cope with our lives. And don't get me wrong, I think that both sides, in a way or another, will be losing as we go along. The Zionist project, for instance, which is the project of setting up a Jewish democratic state that's also safe and secure for the Jewish people and all of that, seems to me, and I'm not saying it with any kind of relish, I'm saying it as a kind of forecast, seems to me, because of what is happening, because of the unfolding reality, seems to me that that project is slowly slipping through the cracks. Not because of anything that's going to happen from outside, but because of what's happening slowly unfolding inside. And the Palestinians, too, are not going to have the free, democratic, Palestinian, Arab, whatever state, either the one that I naively dreamt about or thought about, hoped for when I was younger, nor even a two-state solution that I also wanted to bring about because I thought this was actually the least painful and the most practical compromise to make. But that also is going, both of them, all of them are going to fall through the cracks. And we have to think of, I don't know, a new horizon. We have to come up with new ideas. And perhaps in order to do this, we have to get over a lot of our complexes on both sides. Complexes having to do with our religions, who we are. For instance, the complex of the Jews thinking, they are super, or they are gods only. The Arabs also, the Muslims, thinking of themselves. You don't think only the Jews think they are God's chosen and only. Also the Muslims, we have it in the Quran. It says we are. People have to get out of themselves, I think. We have to get out of our small cocoons, if you like, and start to see each other as human beings. And I like the lecture that Avraham Burg gave you right at the very beginning, when he divided the sets of people in Israel, Palestine now, as four. The first, what you call the people of God, and they are, they just hear, they think God tells them. The people that are in love with the territory, the land and its passion for them, it's almost romance, and they do anything and everything for the little patch of territory they think is theirs, belongs to them. What he calls the statists, the third group, the ones who think that it is the state that is the end-all, be-all of everything, and that will do anything and everything to get it. And then the fourth group, and the fourth group is the group of human beings. Human beings, individuals, who have to look inside themselves and somehow liberate themselves enough to be able to see themselves as equal with others and to respect others as they hope to be respected by others themselves. Perhaps, given these guidelines, Jews, Arabs, Muslims, Israelis, Palestinians can somehow bring something together. I'll stop here. Thank you very much for listening.